Leia. Welcome to this episode of Diaries of a Witchy Creative Life. Today, we are going to be doing another love and relationships reading. As I upload this, there are already a couple of other love and relationships readings on this channel, so if this is your jam, go ahead and take a look at those as well if you haven't yet. This time around, we are using the Modern Witch Tarot, whose energy I love. But to get on with this particular reading, first of all, this is not predictive. I know that in the title you'll see that it's about your future relationship. But the focus is more along the lines of how you can prepare for it, rather than you hearing about the traits that a future lover is going to have, or where you're going to meet, or when, for that matter. This is empowering in the sense that you get more of a say or a decision in how things proceed from here on out when it comes to matters of love. But of course, the 3 cards we have can only cover so many points, so listen to what resonates with you. And like I always love saying, you might want to use what comes up here as inspiration for journaling. And by the way, this video could also benefit anyone who's currently in a relationship, because you might be able to recognize certain patterns that you've had and work on those, or make a decision on what you want to do about them, whether you're currently in a relationship or not. So let's get started. Card number 1 is the 7 of Pentacles. What we are pondering here with this card is, could it possibly be time to take a break from cultivating your love life? Let's say you've been very serious in the past however long, be it weeks or months, or for some maybe even years, about the dates you go on and your online dating profile, etc., etc., but nothing has clicked as of yet, despite all the effort that you've put in. If so, this could be an opportunity to evaluate whether there are certain aspects of this whole process that you've been obsessing about. For some, you might be thinking, did I do everything just right? For example, when it comes to the dates that you've been on. Do you have this inner critic telling you, oh, you could have done it this way, you could have said that instead of this? And maybe for some, even if you haven't been all that gung-ho about the effort that has gone into the process of dating or finding a new love, maybe, nevertheless, you've been thinking about all this a little too much, worrying a lot, or it simply occupied your thoughts so much that you haven't really allowed yourself to do much else. Maybe for some, now you feel like you're swimming in anxiety or worry, wondering if maybe there's something wrong with you, or if there's anyone who would make a decent match for you. Regardless of which one of those fits you best, if you are feeling exhausted and like all this is a little too much right now, or it's been a little too much for quite a while even, maybe you can step back. Relax. You've put in effort, and sometimes it just needs time. Also, taking a break could be good for refreshing your mind and giving you renewed inspiration when you do return. So if this sounds like you, consider stepping back a little bit. This might even involve putting your profiles on private while you take that break. This isn't about giving up, it's about putting yourself in a better headspace and just general space to be welcoming love into your life again. Now let's take a look at card number 2. It is the 5 of Pentacles. Look at the picture on the card for a moment. you'll see there are two figures who seem to be suffering out in the cold. And this brings us to the question of, how might you be a glutton for punishment? And the reason I say glutton for punishment is, you may not have to suffer at all, and yet you choose to. And this isn't even necessarily a conscious thing. It could be wired or programmed into you to want to tough it out. Or maybe you came from a family where you were treated a certain way and that was the norm. So now that you're older, without fully realizing it until you do that inner work and inner discovery, what comes naturally to you is to seek the same kind of relationships. Another question would be, in what ways might you be settling? Let's say you find someone and you're not really feeling them, but they seem to be okay. And so instead of continuing on with a search or just being friends with them instead of getting romantic, because you don't really want to get romantic, you allow the relationship to evolve in a direction that you're not so happy with. You think to yourself that you should consider yourself lucky because at least you found someone decent or decent-ish, or they're a good person even though you're not attracted to them. So these are all things to consider. Maybe sometimes you don't even entertain the possibility of a relationship unless someone has certain traits that won't really do you good. Like, they're dangerous, or maybe you don't get excited at the prospect of somebody who is actually good for you because you're used to having a lot of excitement, even if it is the kind that isn't beneficial for you. And I bring all this up because it helps to be aware. We carry our past with us, and until we do some inner awareness work, our lives are always going to reflect what we believe to be true about what we should endure or go through. If you believe that this is all you deserve, or this is all you're good for, then you'll take it. So this is an invitation now to ponder over where any of that could be true for you, so that you can finally allow into your life someone who's much better for you, so that you can finally reprogram yourself. Sometimes it might take a good amount of work, like going to therapy, so that you can see what it's like to be happy and taken care of, rather than being in relationships that are either not good for you, or even if it is a wonderful person that you're getting with, it's someone that maybe doesn't interest you, like I mentioned earlier. If that sounds like you, why is that? And how can you change that? Last but not least, we have card number 3. It's the Queen of Swords. Let's just straighten this a little bit. I had a love and relationships video that I did not too long ago, where the Queen of Swords came up as well. So it is pretty interesting to see her again. And what we are going to contemplate now is, how can you be more objective and less governed by your emotions? Is it part of your personality that before you can actually think about the relationship that you're jumping into or who you're getting involved with, you already feel so swept off your feet, so you decide to go along with it? And before you know it, you've been together for however long that is, be it weeks or months, or for some people even years. And it was all because you got carried away by your feelings. But there could have been red flags. There could have been indications that even though there isn't any bad guy per se in the relationship, you're just not a good match. And yet you continued. Maybe you wanted different things. You have different goals. And yet you stayed together, thinking all of this would just right itself somehow. Not to say that people with different goals can't make it work, but that does take effort. And without the awareness, it can be pretty challenging to sustain a relationship like that. So you're being invited now to be honest with yourself. Maybe take a look at patterns in the relationships that you've had so that you can learn from them and be more intentional as you keep your eyes open for the next person that you're going to be letting in. I read somewhere, or have even had discussions where it's come up that people tend to spend more time doing research on something that they want to purchase, like a new car or phone or whatever else it may be, as compared to a relationship they're getting into. But a relationship is something that could have a really huge impact on your life, especially if it lasts years of your life. Even if it lasts weeks or months, if it's really intense or hurtful or even abusive, then yeah, it can affect you a lot. Even the other party, if it was mutually difficult. So that's something to keep in mind right there. To learn to be more objective. To at least balance out objectivity with your heart, with your feelings. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Love and relationship readings are very popular on this channel since I came back, which is a little over a month now. So I will gladly give you a lot of them. Stay tuned, there's a whole lot more coming. Take care, I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. More exciting Diaries of a Witchy Creative Life coming soon.